This is a Glendale Library Arts and Culture program created for and featuring teens, edited and hosted by the teen library staff.
Now that we have gotten to know about your podcast, LA Meekly, let's dive in behind the scenes. What program do you use to for your podcast?
For programming to record, we use Audacity, which is free, and it's never really given us a problem. I mean, maybe at first it gave us a problem until we figured out channels and all that stuff. Eventually, we got a mixer and it saved the day. But to edit, we use Adobe Audition. We run it through a layer of that, and then to chop it up, we use Premiere Pro, which I had to write down because I don't do any of the editing. I refuse to do it. But yeah, no, we scored on some Adobe stuff, so we use that, and it's never really given us a problem. Once something doesn't give you a problem, you stick with it till it gives you a problem, then you toss it out. That will work.
What were the steps that you guys took to start the podcast?
Well, I think probably one of the most essential things was trying to figure out our format. We kind of didn't know what we wanted to do at first, and that changed over time. But when we first started, you report, I report, and it'll be a back and forth, not too serious and very loose and stuff. That was probably the first step. And then there's a lot of research online about, luckily, there's stuff like Reddit will just have a list of everything that you need to start. So once we started buying everything and downloading programs and figuring out stuff, at that point it was just nerves. It was just oh, I'm going to record something and put it on the internet. How are we going to do that? That was another big, it's all psychological stuff that can really keep you from doing anything. But stepwise, the internet's full of lists about what can help you, what's cheap, where to buy stuff. We started with one of those USB snowball microphones, and we'd have to lean in each time one of us talked, and if we had a riff, we'd have to no, you go. And then we graduated to better, more professional microphones that run through a mixer and then into my laptop, and that way we can have a station, so we can, now there's two recordings happening at once. That helped a lot. That made it a lot more looser, and we didn't have to worry so much about how's this going to sound later. We could just record it. Fun. How
did you know it was time to upgrade your equipment? And
Mr. Sound Quality was not happy with a lot of stuff. And if you listen to older episodes, it's very rough, and it doesn't sound anything like the new episodes sound really, really polished. But the older episodes, it's kind of grainy. You can hear one of us, but you can't hear the other one if I'm chiming in on something. So we did that for a while, and then we could take it for a little bit, but as we started getting more listeners and more attention, we were this isn't going to cut it. So that's when we decided that we needed to make it sound as professional as possible, because no one's going to give you money if you sound like you're recording in a bathroom on a phone. Probably not going to give you money, but if you sound like you know what you're doing, they're probably very happy to help you out. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I know your co-host is your best friend, but how did you know that you guys were gonna mesh well, as co-hosts?
The best answer is that we would annoy everybody around us that would hang out, because we would, when we were in a group, we just like magnets. We went to each other, and then we would that was just our vibe the whole time, was that riff, and we would try to we do that thing with jokes with people that do with baseball bats, where you're trying to get the hand on top, we're just trying to one up each other and see who could be the funniest. And I have people like that in my life, but they can't. They also don't have the work ethic and aren't as sharp. I don't want to say that. That sounds mean. None of my other friends are as sharp as Daniel, but him and I exist on the same brain wavelengths and stuff, and we just mesh, and like any two people that have a good time together and have a good conversation, they're we should record this and put it on the internet.
Sorry, I just think about Melissa and I, whenever we go out, we're we should have recorded
because we're really funny. We're hilarious. But no one else finds it funny. I think other people find it annoying.
I worry about
these
weirdos,
these weird girls. Yeah.
Those are the best conversations. When you're done, you're I can't believe we'll never get to hear that again. And then
yeah. So let's say, did you guys ever think of having maybe another co-host ever, or you just were no, it's just us two forever and ever?
I pitched before, because there's another podcast called Last Podcast on Left, which is really good, and they have 3 people, and it's 2 researchers and one guy who hadn't done the research, and one guy who's like the balance of three seems to work. But at this point, like I'm scared to mess up with our chemistry. Like our chemistry has worked so far, and trying something out might derail that. Who knows if we'll ever get back this? So I'm one of those like, if something's working, I don't want to mess with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought about it before, and I carried that thought for maybe like a week, and then I thought, nah, I don't need that in my life. I don't need that extra stress in my life with a third person.
Yeah.
And I know promoting like your show and everything is important. What like social media platforms did you guys specifically chose like for the podcast?
Well, when we started, it was I just had a Tumblr page just because I could repost and I wouldn't have to write long things, and I could just like, here's pictures of what we're doing. And because we still don't have a real website, but then kind of on Facebook, we weren't getting a lot of attention, but we really hammered home Instagram, because there's a lot of like LA people who love to post fun things on Instagram, and I had already got an acquaintance to it. I was accustomed to it already because I had my own profile. So we just started doing Instagram. That's probably where we get the most attention. Twitter is, if you don't have a good take on something, then why be on Twitter is my opinion. So Instagram, you can post a picture and have a line, and then get some people and get some attention that way. That's the most traffic we get is on Instagram, where you can't listen to a podcast. Yeah.
Going back to like Instagram, do you guys do like Instagram Live? And I think like they just released Instagram
like
TikTok
version.
Yeah.
Oh,
Are you guys?
really?
Would you guys do that?
Yeah.
I don't know. We would certainly make a lot of jokes about doing it, but I don't know if we would ever do that. We were talking about doing a Instagram Live thing because a couple weeks ago I bought him and I walkie-talkies. And I thought, how fun is this? We can have Instagram Live between him and I, but they don't work because we're in the city and it only works for 2 miles, and he's about 12 miles away. So I just wasted money on a walkie-talkie. But we've been talking about different things we could do, but we're also still kind of camera shy, and we don't really know what we can do. Like if we're gonna do something, we're gonna we want it to be really good and really funny, so we have to think about it a lot. So we're not quite sure where we fit there, because we're happy just as a podcast for now, but trying to do video content, it's like, oh, I don't, what camera do I look at? I don't know. We're still kind of weird about that.
For someone that is thinking of beginning like a podcast, what software do you suggest to start with, or any tips?
Like I was saying, just do a lot of research online and test everything out. Like if sometimes I've been on other podcasts before where we just recorded from a clip mic hooked up to a phone and it sounded perfect. There was no problem. So if find out your comfort level. Sometimes you have to think a little ahead of what I want my podcast to be, and then from there that kind of motivates I need a better mixer, or I need a field mic, which is what one of our devices is. When we do field trips, we have a mic or a mixer that we can record on, that we take out with us, that hooks up to 2 microphones. Program wise, I think Audacity is great to record on and listen back. If you have a laptop and you want to do that, and then any of the editing programs, don't audit podcasts. Any of the editing programs I'm sure there's free ones online that work just as good. But yeah, Audacity is really, once you figure out channels and all the sounds and inputs and outputs, it hasn't given us a problem since.
And you actually recently graduated from the Sign Graphics program at LA Trade Tech. Can you talk a little bit more about the program?
It is a fantastic program. I cannot promote this enough. I've gone to a lot of college, unfortunately, and this was the best experience in my life. It was a 2-year program at LA Trade Tech. It is it's the second oldest program they have. I think it started in the 20s, and it's the guy's name is Doc Guthrie. He's a teacher. He's been doing it since the 70s. It's officially the last curriculum class you could take to learn how to do hand painted signs, and it's 4 semesters, and they walk you through lettering and drawing letters and understanding and paints and how letters form and everything. And it's a really great program. It was 2 years, and I was in the middle of the last class, which is a mural class, before COVID shut everything down. But it was my favorite school experience, just because I was very interested in graphic design, but I didn't want to learn how to do. I didn't want to take a bunch of classes about how to layer stuff on Adobe. I didn't want to do that. But very hands-on. Like I want to say maybe like a couple weeks into the first class, we were already drawing on easels with pencils and learning stuff. And the first day of the third semester, you're the first day you paint. Like you're just painting giant wall signs, giant window signs. You're putting signs up around the school. It's a great program. I don't remember what even got me to do it in the first place. People there would ask me like, "Oh, so why'd you take this?" I'm like, I don't know how I ended up here. I have no idea what the root thought was. I'm not good at drawing at all, so I really don't know where it came from. I think that everything else I do, like the podcast, I went to library school. I do stand up. Like everything's cerebral, so it's like reading and then writing and output. And I wasn't good with my hands. I wanted to be good with my hands, and I kind of found out about this class and jumped in.
Have you made any like signs?
Yeah. We. You mean around town?
Yeah, like
I was restoring faded lettering at Travel Town in Griffith Park. So some of the things there that have newer lettering, I helped out with. So I'd go there after quarantine because there was no more people walking around. So they had I contacted them like a year ago about volunteering. And then after COVID happened, they said, well, there's nobody here. There's just volunteers kind of scattered through the park. So we worked out a thing, and I've been going there to paint some of the old engines and stuff. Mostly the stuff I did was around like schoolwork or like giving friends like hand signs and stuff. Yeah, great. It's great to learn. Yeah.
Do you think you're gonna make like a hand painted LA Meekly sign for like the
I considered it doing a sandwich board to take to shows, but we only do like 2 shows a year, so I don't know if it would be worth it. But it's definitely in that head. We have a new logo coming our way, which I'm really, really excited about. It's a really great art team. Eric Martinez drew us a new logo, and I'm like, I wonder if I should paint this and just carry it around with me. I put it inside of my truck and be like, I have a podcast. But I'm not quite sure yet. But it's cooking. That idea is cooking in here right now.
So before we end, we have some rapid fire questions to ask you.
Good at these.
So the first question is, what is your favorite color?
Orange. Very into Halloween, so orange is anything orange. Like, can I fashion that into a I put a mic up to my mouth. Can I fashion that into a jack-o'-lantern? Yeah, orange is probably my favorite. It's a ridiculous color that doesn't fit in with the other colors at all.
So, what is your favorite fast food?
In-N-Out is probably my favorite because it's the highest quality for the most affordable price. And we did an episode on In-N-Out, and the ethos of In-N-Out is perfect. It's every burger special. Always give everyone a smile. And as I was reading, I'm like, no one's ever been mean to me at an In-N-Out before. Oh my god, I can get a 4x4. Was anyone ever mean to you at an In-N-Out? I have to know, so I can never.
No, I haven't.
No,
yeah,
now that you mention it, it's always been like really good customer service.
Yeah, right. In-N-Out. That's all a commercial for In-N-Out.
Yeah, and like no one yells at them either. Now that you mentioned it.
Yeah.
Like,
I've never even sometimes in the seating area, but never between the customer and employee have I seen any conflict before. And I've been to In-N-Out a lot.
Yeah, I have too. That's why I'm like, wait, now that you mention it, you're right. It's like nothing.
You're gonna get so much contact from people after I said this of like stories about In-N-Out.
I know.
For any LA native, which restaurant do you think they need to try?
Oh man, God. I'm trying to think. Do I have any friends who own a restaurant? God, my favorite restaurants have been closing left and right. I want to say Masa in Echo Park is a really good restaurant. They do deep dish pizza. We've been going to them for different things through the quarantine, and they're really great. I really like Masa. I have nothing bad to say about Masa. It's got like candlelights and stuff. It's great. The mood of it when we're allowed to go back to restaurants, people will dig the mood. Yeah. But the pizza's great. Like a deep dish pizza, they're famous for that, and they tell you when you order it, like, this is 40 minutes. You're gonna be waiting here, but it's good.
So what is your favorite dish to cook? And if you don't cook, what dish would you want to cook?
I've been getting better at making ramen through all of this, like the prepackaged ramen. But I've learned. My girlfriend taught me. oh, you throw green onions in there and top it off with some cheese and maybe put a hard-boiled egg in there. So I've been progressively experimenting, which I've never done with food before. I'm an awful cook. Yeah. I want to say ramen packages I've been getting better at.
I didn't know that you could do that. Like put, like I always thought like ramen, you just eat it like, cup noodle ramen, that's all. But like I didn't know you could like. I mean now like it's very obvious, but I just recently started doing that too.
Isn't it weird that sometimes you need someone to tell you that you could do that before you're like, oh yeah, there's no rules to making. Oh, this isn't as pathetic as people make it sound. This is actually pretty good. I can actually enjoy this, and I should. Yeah.
Like I watch K-dramas, so whenever I watch like their ramen is like you said, like it has eggs, it has like meat in it sometimes, and I'm like, how? Like that's amazing. Yeah.
You can look at a big healthy bowl of ramen, like how did they do that? But they just added it. Like it's not hard.
Right. I know. Like I always thought it was more
complicated.
Like labor. Like more complicated labor. Like, but it's not like it's like anything in your fridge. Throw it in there and.
really is anything in your fridge. Yeah, and if you don't like it, it doesn't make the cut next time, and it's that simple. And I don't know. It's like opening doors for ideas for cooking for me, which is like based on one cooking. If you don't like it, don't put it in.
Yeah. Right. What is your favorite LA historical spot?
Oh boy, I really like Rock Haven in La Crescenta, which is an old sanitarium. It's a beautiful lot, but it's a time capsule too because they haven't moved a lot of furniture and they haven't like torn anything out, and it's perfectly preserved of its era, and it's got a great history. Really big fan. If any, I don't know if they're still doing tours. They should, but Rock Haven might be my favorite.
Have you been inside? I guess you just
Yeah,
I always
because they were offering tours. Yeah. Yeah, we did a field trip there, which is the first time I went, and then we met Joanna Linkhorst, who's kind of running I want to say the Historical Society or the Preservation Society of Rock Haven, and then we were lucky enough to find out tours and stuff. So I've gone like maybe 2 or 3 times to tours, taking up, like, look how great this is, look how old that carpet is. But I really love Rock Haven. Yeah,
I've always wanted to go because I see it outside.
Yeah.
But like that's all I've seen, and I've like looked through the
you're the spooky
the
girl
gate.
Yeah.
Like because I think last time like I've done that because I like tell my sister like it's haunted. I don't know if it is haunted, but like I sort of like sometimes want to scare her where she won't want to walk around it at night or when she's home. But like I'm like that creepy person that's like
the girl that all the stuff happens to in the scary stories. Yeah, that's you.
Right. I'm like,
what is that? Someone moving in there? I've never seen it at night, but I imagine it's kind of it looks like the cover of a Goosebumps book. Yeah.
So talking about like hauntings, what's your favorite LA haunted spot?
The one that I always love to drive people past is I'll give you 2 real quick. Linda Vista Hospital in Boyle Heights is a big hospital. They just turned into an old folks home, and it has some of the most haunted stories coming out of there because they would film stuff there, and security guards would quit like all the time because they're like, nope, I heard mopping. I saw somebody walk by like a hallway or something, so I'm not going to go back. We did research on a place in San Pedro, a house that like had a poltergeist. It was like a really great story. It's I think Jackie Hernandez in San Pedro. That's the lady who all the stuff. But we went looking one day and we couldn't find it, and that's the spookiest thing about it is that I had an address in my hand and a photo, and I was walking around and I couldn't find the house. And either I'm really bad at that or the house is a ghost. Yeah, those are probably my 2 favorite of the old spooky haunted stories. Yeah.
If you could visit any place around the world, what place would it be?
I know that the world is really big, and there's a lot of beautiful places. I just went to Sequoia, so I know how beautiful the world is. I really want to go to Chicago. I don't know why. Around the world, and I want to go like pizza and hot dogs. I think that's why, and like a lot of neon lights. Like I think I have like an idea of like old jazz being played there, so I'm like I gotta check this out. I would say like that or the Swiss Alps probably is my answer to that. two very different answers.
Right. Yeah, like total kind of opposites.
Opposite. Either very urban or very secluded in the
Right.
beautiful snow-topped hills. Yeah.
So what is something you are really proud of that you have accomplished?
Boy, I want to say maybe the hardest thing in my life since I was a little kid was public speaking. So stand-up is a really big chip on my shoulder that I feel like there's not a lot of stuff that I feel like I earned that, but like getting good at, not great, but like for being able to perform well without being scared anymore is like a huge hurdle that I never thought I would ever get over. Like public speaking, it used to I'd get to do a presentation even in college and I would be like shaking and stuff, and I would apologize to teachers after class. I'm like, I'm sorry that happened to everybody in the class. Like I talked about like a car accident, but like I've gotten so good now that I'm pretty proud of, like I can get in front of people and it doesn't like break me down. Yeah.
Wait, you said you talked about a car accident?
No, I talked about it like it was a car accident. Like I'm sorry for everybody who had to experience this. I'm sorry that I did that. Like I'd apologize to teachers, and they were like, "What are you talking? Like, get out, go home." Like so, yeah. That was a big hurdle in my life, and I'm pretty proud that I don't shake in front of 20 people anymore. Yeah.
That's brave. You're very brave.
Thank you. 21 people, also, but 20 people.
What is some advice that you wish you would have known when you were younger?
Comfort zones are kind of bad for you, and it's okay to be scared of something and still do it. Like all the things in my life now that I have that I'm kind of proud of happened because I had to face a fear of any kind. Like Shine Graphics, I was really nervous about drawing in front of people, and then when you do it, you have to do it in front of, like, everything you do has to be in front of everybody for you to get over it. You have to face the fear head on. You can't like do a sign and put it up in your room, and it's not the same thing as like I have to do a big billboard like in front of everyone who I think is cool. Stand-up's the same way, podcasts are the same way. Like you have to put yourself out there and just be okay with looking dumb for a while, and then you get better, and then everyone will forget that you were ever dumb at it.
So if you weren't a podcaster, comedian, and I guess like sign graphic, yeah. What other hobby would you do? Or hobby job would you do?
Hobby jobby?
Hobby jobby.
That's a good question. Something with bows and arrows. I don't know. Something with archery. I'd like to, it's silly. I really like long road trips. I'm a big fan of, going. My girlfriend's dad is a long haul truck driver, and sometimes I think like, oh, you got to see the whole country, and you get paid for it too. I think I wouldn't be bad at that. I think there's a lot of like I'm one of those nerdy people who's never left home, but I like see pictures of like the Midwest. I'm like, wow, look at that mountain. Like I think that I could have been good at that.
Yeah.
What's a show that you are currently watching?
Can I talk about a show that I just finished that I can't stop talking about?
Yeah.
I just finished Avatar. It's so good.
Oh my. Okay, so I watched that when I was younger, and then I watched it again, and oh my god, it's just brilliant.
Yeah.
I had heard since it came out years ago that it was the best like action cartoon ever. I was like, and I didn't say like it's not, but I never tried it. But now it's on Netflix, and I want to say like 4 episodes in, I'm like, that's it. This is all I'll ever watch again. I'll never watch another animated show in my life because I want to end this. And I saw the last episode, and I was mesmerized. I saw it like 3 times, like back to back. It's so good. It's such a good show about growth. It's an action show about growth and people. It's so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then they're making a live action like show on Netflix. Yeah. Hopefully it's better. Hopefully, Netflix is doing. Hopefully it's better than the like movie, because the movie was horrible.
I know about the movie is every single person I've met hates it. Yeah, I mean, like, it doesn't need a live action thing. It's perfect as it is. Like,
right.
They want to do that, whatever. It's fine. It doesn't. Them making live action doesn't mean I can't watch the cartoon. I have to remind myself that all the time.
So, what artists are you currently listening to?
There's a there's like a new wave band called Talking Heads that I've known about my whole life, and I've only heard like 3 songs, and I finally like heard an album, and I think that they're incredibly good. I'm not hipping everyone to a new band. This is an established band that everyone already loves. I'm just saying that I'm bored, and I'm a Talking Heads fan. And I'm a big fan. I've been listening to a lot of a band called Yola Tango, which is like I don't know how to describe them. They're just they make really nice music that puts me in a good mood. Yeah.
And then a final question: what is a book that you have read recently or currently are reading that you would recommend?
Currently reading. I'm only 100 pages in, but I'm a big Mark. I don't want to say I'm a big Mark Twain fan. I like Mark Twain as a personality, and I like his stories a lot. I'm reading a book right now called Chasing the Last Laugh, and it's about a comedy tour that he did late in life because he was so in debt and he owed all this money. So he was known for giving lectures, and he thought, well, I'm funny and I give lectures, so they called it like a comedy tour. But I'm reading about like the first 4 nights so far, and they're so like he bombed so bad. One night, like he was on stage in front of all these people, and a loose dog came up on stage and started barking at him. And he almost left, and somebody came and got the dog. But yeah, no, just reading about him. The book's really good. It's written really well. It doesn't weigh you down with historical stuff about like the era or anything. It really like tells you what he's going through, and it doesn't give a lot of extraneous information, which I really like. It's just like the facts. But it's really good. It's a lot of fun. I love making fun of old Mark Twain, which his book is really good at. Right. It has a lot of Arrested Development moments where it's like it'll say what he thought, and then it'll interject with the author being like, "No, that didn't pan out. That didn't work." It's really funny.
So thank you so much, Greg. We learned a lot about you. Thank you for taking your time out of your day to talk with us. So can you let everyone know at home about upcoming projects and where they can connect with you?
You can find us on our very popular Instagram, which has like maybe 1,000 followers. Ali_Meekly there, or ali.meekly@gmail.com if you want to email us. We're on iTunes and Spotify, anywhere, Stitcher, anywhere you can hear podcasts. It's Meekly, Meekly. I have to spell it for people when I tell them what's my podcast. And our upcoming projects, we're still releasing episodes the first of the month, so you can look for those. We have a huge backlog. Interested in that, and I'll be working, I believe, on a shorter episode for the city of Glendale to help promote or work in conjunction with Eric Nusbaum's book, Stealing Home. I think I'll be doing like a little companion for that. Something to look forward to that. So you can, if you like Ellie Meekly, you can look forward to that through Glendale.
Cool. What's Stealing Home?
It's a book about Chavez Ravine, which is a neighborhood in Echo Park, kind of near downtown, and it was knocked down to make way for Dodger Stadium, and it's the story of a battle between the citizens of that area and the city, basically, and Huoc and the Dodgers and everybody kind of against them. And it's a really great book. I'm a huge fan of him. I'm a huge fan of his Twitter account.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Greg. It was nice talking to you.
Yeah, thank you both for having me. I had a good time.
Thank you for watching G.E.N Talks. If you would like to contact us or be part of the show, please email us at teengentalks@glendaleca.gov.
Make sure to subscribe to the Glendale Library Arts and Culture channel, as well as follow us on our socials.
And remember to tune in every Friday for the next part in the interview. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Now I hear it.
Yeah.
I guess maybe if I keep talking.
Yeah. I'll beatbox behind you to drown out. I can't. Please
we start to just freestyle, sing and everything.